and I'm just gonna get a glass of water. Today, I've got to be a little bit careful not to start hacking away. Just like my cold has just come out in force.
There's so much of it around, as we say every year, I guess, but we've got to say it this year because the last couple of years, because of all the COVID nonsense. Almost everybody I speak to is around London at the moment. My son's down with it. You know, of course.
Okay, that's the link. Just put it in the chat for the video, and I'm going to. So we're live on YouTube now. So I'm just going to start. Just gonna get a glass of water, and then we'll get started. Okay.
Right.
No, non quello. Va bene nella tazza. Va bene nella tazza. Ok, grazie. Okay, let's get started.
I'm just going to try and join with my phone. Right, here we go. So if you can make me host on that.
Okay, I don't see you with your phone yet.
There we go. There we go. Just connecting now.
Okay, there you are. And I will let Tim in as well. And there you go.
Recording in
Okay, good morning everyone, and Merry Christmas to you all. I can see the Christmas jumpers and the Christmas hats. Okay, as you can see, I don't know if you can see mine as well. I'm ready. Good morning, Pierre. Too. I like your headgear, Pierre. Excellent. Eric, you don't have anything. Come on. Come on. You need to find something, a bit of tinsel or something. Get it stealing from the Christmas tree.
Eric's all business.
Yeah, Eric's all business. I know. I've already had a nice chat with him. Okay, guys. I mean, today is going to be kind of like a bit of a fun session. But as a gift to you, let me just make Duncan co-host. Just a second. So Duncan, you co-host on both of your accounts, I think. Okay. Hi, good morning, Jaya. Where's your Christmas? Where your Christmas attire? Come on.
Christmas hat.
Okay, kind of like as a Christmas gift, I just wanted to show you my my outlook on why we are where we are right now, and where we are likely to be in the near future. Okay, and then I'll leave it to you to to draw your consequences and if you want to take some action or not. But first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open just a blank PowerPoint page so we can write things on, and we can have we can understand what's going on really in 2021. And because sometimes it's easy to get taken in by everything that's happening around now, and news in the crypto world are getting faster and faster and more difficult to digest. Okay, so if we zoom out, we understand what are the waves, the trends that we've had in 2021 that have taken us where we are today, and how they're going to play out in 2022. Okay, so let's write things down in a kind of in a blank page. Just wait a second. Let me just get it ready for you. Excuse me, but today I got a little bit of a cold, so it's I'm going to be a little bit coughing a little bit. I'll do what I can. Okay, the page is ready. Let me share it. Okay, so what are we seeing in 2022? Okay, first of all, can anybody, I'll take I'll take clues from you as well. If you're thinking I'm missing anything, or if you see something that should take precedence around what I write. But for me, 2022 is being again dominated by COVID. Okay, so because obviously we had COVID in our economy, that meant what has it translated into? And this is what I'm looking at. It's not just things that happen, but then what do they cause? What's the ripple effect they cause? Okay, so generally, COVID as and this first analysis is using my economics background. So first of all, I look because crypto is just at the end of the day, we can't just look at crypto in isolation. We have a we have to have a look at it as part of the part of the whole economy, and so how it fits into the kind of the narrative and the discourse that's going on in the wider world, and is crypto getting in there because it's solving a problem or not, and what kind of effect has in the wider world, because at the moment crypto is still a very small percentage of the kind of like the worldwide investment. It's just tiny at the moment. Okay, so first of all, we need to look at what's going on in the economy. So COVID has meant basically economic slowdown. Okay, so people can travel, it's so the kind of like the industry, they are connected with with travel, with holidays, with just even business travel has gone down to a very, very minimum, and as a result, a lot of economies have suffered, businesses have suffered, and people that are employed by businesses have suffered too. So how our government dealt with all of this, the main thing they have done, and I don't know, it may be called a different name in your country, but here in the UK it's called furlough. Okay, so where the government basically had covered a big percentage of people wages in many different businesses. Okay, so when you're thinking, and we're talking about here, hundreds of billions of dollars or pounds, whatever you want to, whatever currency you use in your country. So the question is that, so lots of money printing, yeah, because obviously government had to use something to pay people, because otherwise people would not have been able to support their families and to feed themselves. Okay, so the question is, where does this money come from? Okay, now I'll take your answers. Let me see if anybody can tell me where that all the furlough money, and we're talking about really trillions of dollars that have been printed in 2020 and 2021, where does it come from? Where do government take all those kind of hundreds of billions and trillions from? Any answer? Just put it in the, where is the, can I see the, I can't see the, where is the, oh, there we are, chat. Okay, let's have a look what the answers are. Taxes, ink on paper, tax, well, not tax yet, because taxes take time to collect. So they have to, act quickly. Eric says inflation. Okay, created from nothing, Tim. Okay, the answer is kind of like a little bit simpler than that. And it's there is a little bit from what you have answered, but really, where it comes from. It comes from your, oops, it comes from your pocket. Why does it come from your pocket? Because any money that you hold, if you have money in the bank, or if whatever you have investments in denominated in dollars, pounds, Australian dollars, rand, whatever it is, because the government has printed 20, 40, 50% as much money as was in circulation already. What that means, they are debasing, so taking value from what you hold in those currencies. So the dollars, the pounds that you have in your accounts, Australian dollars, are now worth a lot less than they were worth 12 months ago. And even if you look at 24 months ago, even more. Okay, so it's, although it doesn't say, you won't see, because you still got the same number of banknotes in your pocket, the value of those banknotes is a lot less. Okay, so on an economic kind of like on a macro economic movement, what does that mean? Because if I can see this as I'm a little guy sitting in my own office here, if I can see, I can guarantee you that the swarms of analysts at JP Morgan, Bank of America, and everywhere else, I've seen this coming a lot sooner than I have. So what does that mean on an economic macro scene? Is that has been a rush to get into assets that would hold value. Okay, and so which may this be? Okay, so for example, stocks and shares. Okay, stocks and shares. What, another one? Can you, anybody mentions probably the most obvious one? Property. And within this kind of movement, we have to include obviously crypto. Crypto is part of that, especially for Eric says metal as well. Well, metal, precious metal, hasn't really been a kind of investment that holds its value, because if you look at it, over the last 10 years, the last 20 years, you have actually, if you had gold as a store of value in your account, you would have lost a lot of purchasing power. Now, gold is worth less than what it was worth 10 years ago. Okay, in currency terms, and when you think that the currency that you use to value gold as the valued a lot, you can see that you would have lost a lot of value if you kept gold as a kind of like as an investment asset. So I wouldn't say that gold is being a store of value that people have used very much, but you say especially for the younger generations, crypto has been one of the most easy to access investments that they have had available to them, to have something that would store value. Okay, so it's easy to set up a crypto exchange account. It's easy to buy and sell coins. A lot easier than it is to open a brokerage account. Okay, or to buy property, obviously. So this is kind of like the economic environment that we've been coming in. And as I say, what has fueled as well the move into assets, and in particular into crypto, is that we are seeing in 2021 institutional involvement. Okay, and investment, obviously. Now, this has been a gradual process because there need to be steps in place to allow institutions to invest, because they are kind of like heavily regulated. Okay, so we have seen kind of like the stepping stones being put into place, kind of the establishment of our crypto index, the first crypto excuse me, the first crypto ETFs, so kind of like investment vehicles that you could invest from your brokerage accounts, are being created across the world, and the US is being kind of like it's been the latest addition to this, because other countries have moved before the US in particular. We had we had ETFs in Switzerland, in Germany, in Canada, in Singapore, and then eventually the US decided that they would enter this field as well. Now, within this, we have seen a kind of like a really strong growth of the whole crypto market. So that's two. So we've gone from 750 million in January to, sorry, billion, no million, I'm talking about, to 2.5 trillions, okay, or 2,500 billions today. Okay, so you just do it, this is time three and a bit. Okay, so the market has grown 3 times during this time. Okay, and there have been things like, obviously now the emergence of ETFs has allowed more people to access investment, crypto as an investment. Okay, and also lowered technological barriers to entry. Okay, so this, I could go on about this. I don't want to make it too heavy. I mean, this is a Christmas event after all, so kind of like leave it at this as a kind of a background. And then, if we go into, maybe we start another page. So in this economic background, slide. Let me just remove. So in this economic background, then we start looking at kind of the crypto trends. Okay. What we're seeing in 2021 in crypto itself. Now, probably the biggest story around crypto in 2021 has been China. So what's happened in China? China has a history of, kind of like trying to ban crypto for several years now. And probably kind of they made an announcement that they were banning crypto about 75 times before this year. But this year in 2021, they actually gone further. Okay, so they announced early in the year that they were banning crypto mining first, and then eventually, a bit more recently, they say that all crypto accounts must be closed, and crypto has become illegal in China. Okay, so companies have to banned, let's say, Bitcoin mining. Okay, and the result of this has been a drop in hash rate in Bitcoin. Okay, so what does this mean is that Bitcoin network was less secure. Okay, because there are less, a smaller number of computers protecting the network. Okay, but at the same time, because it was less secure, then the difficulty of mining. So mining difficulty went down to attract more people to mine Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin mining profitability went up. Okay, so this is kind of like a backdrop to China banning Bitcoin mining, and as a result, result is that redeploying Chinese crypto mining hardware, which was roughly 50%, okay, 50% of BTC mining. So a redeploying of Chinese crypto mining hardware across the world. And this is being completed today. So now we are back. We are back at hash rates all-time high. Okay, so we have reached the levels that we had in before the Chinese ban, and we have gone beyond this. So basically, it's been in a way it's been a positive process after all. You know, when there is a you know, kind of like when there is an issue, when there is a problem for some, is an opportunity for others. So although you know, the China ban was a big deal especially for the Bitcoin community and for crypto at large, you know, it's now we can see as a positive move, because it means that then the Bitcoin mining is more geographically spread across the world. It's not concentrated in one place like it was in China, you know, before this happened. So it is being kind of like a very positive move in general for the crypto industry. Okay, so we are back now at pre-ban levels. Okay, the other big kind of waves in crypto is that crypto adoption rate which was already fastest ever at roughly 20 or 50% a year. Okay, speed it up to about 900%. Okay, and you can see this in the news everywhere. Everybody's talking about cryptos. You know, it's now become something that's on everybody's mouth, and everybody's become an expert, or if they're no experts, they pretend to be, and so on. Okay, so you can see that everywhere you look. You know, when I started doing this in January, it was very difficult to find anything in the main newspapers and in media. You would have found it very difficult to find crypto-related, meaningful crypto-related articles. Okay, now you can open any newspaper, from the Sun to whatever, the Telegraph, and national news, and you will find a number of crypto-related articles. Okay, crypto adoption rates went up a lot. But why? Because we've seen the first crypto consumer products appear. Okay, and which ones were they? Anybody can guess? Anybody can guess what these the consumer products in crypto are so far? Okay, I'll go from Eric. I'll go NFTs. Yeah, you're perfectly correct. Any more? Games. Yeah. Actually, I should say crypto games. Crypto games and P2E, which for those of you who don't know, it means play to earn. Okay, and the other, Jaya, as you're perfectly correct, DeFi. So decentralized finance. These have probably been the three major trends of 2021 in crypto. And why are they consumer products? Because obviously, if you're talking about NFTs, you see it enable so much for artists, to take charge of their own creations. And we're talking about artists in every field. So it's not just graphic artists, but it's also music, it's also video artists and so on. They can take control of their own creation by then, relying on on a producer or on an art gallery that would take most of the profit, just giving a little bit to the artist. as a first time sale, and then they would lose control of their creation. With NFTs, you're able to create a certain royalty policy when you create a work of art, and then you keep being rewarded. If your work of art does well, it keeps being sold for more and more money, you get a percentage of the sale, throughout the life of your creation. So it is kind of like a game changer for many artists, and also the idea that is what is needed to then the other consumer products that we have seen the emergence of in 2021 is Web 3.0. Okay, so it's being defined as the first Web 1.0 was kind of like read only. Okay, and Web 2.0 was read and write. Okay, and then Web 3.0 we could define it as read, write, and own. Because even in read and write, Web 2.0, who owns? So that kind of like the big innovation with JavaScript and everything, when we had the Facebook coming on, and and kind of the social media, is that the users that first of all could just consume content online the same way. So they would they would read a magazine, but they would read it on the computer rather than on a website, rather than on a piece of paper. With the emergence of social media, then the users became the content creators as well. But at the end of the day, who owns that content is the platform. So the Facebook, the Google, the Amazon, they own the content that you create. With Web 3.0, now the content creators also own their own content, and that is kind of like a game changer. And the way that you access is Web 3.0, it is mainly through NFTs. Okay, and this is why these have been important. Why DeFi and also gaming? Now, why is this important? Is that because now if you can play the same games, and I know they're still in its infancy, but many of the game industry is now moving into crypto. Now, if you can play the same game, one version of the game you just play, and the other version of the game you can play and they pay you to play, then obviously you can see why the second version is growing so fast. Because we're thinking, well, if I'm spending whatever 4 hours a day playing a certain game, and there is a chance that I can get paid $50, $60, $70 for doing that, then why would I not do that and play on my PlayStation where I don't have anything at the end of my playing experience? Okay, the other big narrative has been DeFi, because obviously we know on a background, as I was showing you before, kind of an economic background where the money in your pocket is going down all the time, and the money in the traditional financial sector, only gives very, very scant rewards for your money, kind of 0.1, 0.2. If you're lucky, if you really lock your money away, you maybe be able to get 1%. Wow. While your money is devaluing at 15, 20% per year. So people are not stupid, and they realize that this is happening for their money. So they've been looking for ways of making their money work for them. And this is not possible in traditional finance, but it is possible in DeFi, where we're seeing traditional, just simple rewards of 8, 10, 20%, and much more if you're willing to take more risks. Okay, so this has been a way that people are thinking, well, if I have to hold money in my account, why holding it at 0% when I can get 10%, 12%, 20% for it? Okay, so it is very much been a consumer product. Now, within all of this, we've had the issue of Ethereum. Oh, sorry. Ethereum getting congested. Congestion and gas fees, for those of you that know what they are, so basically it's what you need to spend on Ethereum to do anything, skyrocketed. Okay, so this is both good and bad. Okay, why obviously we can all understand why it is bad, because it costs a lot more, but can anybody tell me why it is also good? Anybody wants to tell me why it is good that the Ethereum gas fees has gone up a lot? Type it into the chat.
I think Luca, I think it's lots of like consumer products, like consumer are consuming this source. Lots of people are using and consuming well. That's why it's good, and good other opportunities. Other can also copy like as Ethereum.
The real reason you would say Duncan said makes room for other cheaper networks. No, it's not so much that. Is that it is going so much because people want to use it. So everybody wants to be on it. Okay, and so that's the reason why it is also good. I'm going to start a new. Now the issue is that because it costs so much now to have transactions that should really have been, you know, $1 or less, are now grown into 67, sometimes hundreds of dollars per transaction. And especially if you tried minting your NFTs in Ethereum earlier on in the year, you might have seen that some of those transactions to just mint a simple NFT were costing hundreds of dollars. So then there have been kind of like within this narrative, and while Ethereum, and this is something that's gone on for many years, is kind of transitions from proof of work to proof of stake. Okay, it's and not only that. So by moving from a proof of work to proof of stake, should get faster and more transactions per second. But also because there is so much demand, even when they eventually move from proof of work to proof of stake, there's still not going to be enough room on Ethereum to do everything that people want to do on it. So they also, the other narrative that there has been into 2021 has been development of layer 2. Let me write it down for you. Layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum. Okay. So while this was going on, then obviously there were people that couldn't wait because they want to do things now. So they looked for other solutions to do to operate in blockchain. So alternatives, so emergence of an alternative. Okay, emergence of alternatives to Ethereum. Okay, so which are these alternatives? And let's start in a chronological fashion. So from what's the first one to appear? The first alternative to appear to Ethereum in 2021 to do things cheaper. Anybody can tell me? Cardano, not so much Cardano, Eric. Not it's not direct alternative to Ethereum. The first one, it's Binance Smart Chain. Okay. So Binance launched their smart chain, and it has seen then BNB went from around, let's say 35, sorry, to over 600. As a result, this is why, because Binance Smart Chain offer an alternative to Ethereum that was cheaper and faster. Okay, so this is require people to move really from Ethereum to the Binance Smart Chain. Although the Binance Smart Chain was still a fork of Ethereum, still had similar programming language to Ethereum, but still like a different place. Now, the first layer 2 scaling solution to Ethereum was Drum roll. Anybody can tell me what's the first layer to appear was? That's the first letter. Any guesses?
Polkadot?
Polkadot. No, no Polkadot. It's Polygon. You might know as Matic. Okay, and this is a really good project coming from India, and they've put a lot of innovation in that. So basically, on Polygon, you could move your Ethereum into Polygon, and then you could do everything that you would do on Ethereum, but at a fraction of the cost. Okay, so is what Ethereum was before it got so congested. You can now do it on Matic, and they haven't stopped. You know, once they have had a lot of success, and you know, the Matic token as well is gone up. It's gone up from. You know, I can show you. Let me just have a look very quickly on CoinGecko. So if we look for Matic, so by the way, at the moment it's hitting all-time highs, and we talk about in a second why. So where was it in January? It was about, let's say, 1.5 to 2 cents. Okay, 1st of January, 1.7 cents. And where is it today? 265 cents. So you were saying it would have been a good investment from 1st of January. You know, I was lucky enough actually to have some Matic in my portfolio, but in 2020 at a fraction of this. Actually, it was less than 1 cent when I bought it. So it's been kind of like a good payer for me. But I haven't even included this because I don't, you know, when I demonstrate my portfolio, whatever, I don't even talk about things like this because obviously it wouldn't have been available to you. I'll give you examples from 2021. So so this is not, you know, because people have been clever and they've been in Bitcoin since 2009 and so on. This is things that happened in 2021. Okay, so this has been kind of like almost 150 times. So that's basically 15,000% in 1 year. Okay, and this is one token. And just by understanding the narrative and why there has been so much interest in it. So we'll go back now to this. So that's the first been Polygon, and then you know, further on that we'll see other alternatives. So everybody can probably know the other alternatives that have appeared more recently. So everybody is aware of Solana, for example. And although Solana is not a kind of a layer 2 scaling solution, the narrative is the same. So they're cheap and fast. And many of the other chains, like Avalanche, for example, Phantom, Harmony, they got a very similar narrative. Okay, so they still, apart from Solana, which is a different system, basically both Avalanche, Phantom, Harmony runs Ethereum virtual machines. So you can run Ethereum code on these networks with very little adjustments. So the developers can develop on these networks with very little adjustment from what they have done in Ethereum. So what we have seen then as another narrative, many dApps, which are decentralized apps, you know, that that had started on Ethereum, started going cross-chain. Because although, you know, if you're thinking about Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, they're all looking at their own ecosystem. From the point of view of an app, you know, all they care about is getting customers, getting users. So they don't really care if those users are on Ethereum, they're on Avalanche or Phantom, on Harmony or Solana. They will go wherever the users are. Okay, so we've seen, especially in DeFi, we see things like, Curve, Sushi Swap. So this kind of things that have started going, they now are on many blockchains. Okay, so because they basically follow the users, and this is kind of like the budding future that we're starting to see. So we now, one of the trends that, and then we go in a second kind of like on the trends for 2022. This is going to be one of the stronger trends of interoperability. So it's not really one chain to dominate. It doesn't matter which one you support, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, or whatever. It's going to be kind of like an interoperability of blockchain. So we still haven't got to the what's it called, to the Wi-Fi moment, because at the moment it doesn't really matter what your device is like. If it's Google, if it's a Microsoft, if it's an Apple device, you can go anywhere in the world and connect to the internet through Wi-Fi. You can't do that at the moment in blockchain technology. There isn't that common standard has been developed yet, but this is what we are moving towards, kind of like an internet of of blockchains. Okay, so what are we seeing now at the end of 2021? And why are we seeing the market kind of like stumble and go down and then recover and then go down and then recover? Are we seeing all that? Because the first thing to consider is kind of like end December 21st. Okay, so 31st of 12 in many parts of the world means it's end of the tax year. Okay, so what it means for companies, for institutions. Okay, don't want to show crypto on the balance sheet. Okay, and this is for several reasons, if in case they don't want to confuse their reporting, or they're not properly set up with their accounting system, and there could be many reasons why they don't want to. But many institutions are realizing their positions for their tax year, and then they're going to. So basically, they sold much of their crypto, and then they're going to reinvest in 2021 in the new tax year. Okay, but from a personal perspective, personal investor, what does it mean? Sometimes is realizing tax losses. Okay, so what does it mean? Obviously, you pay tax. When do you pay tax in crypto? Is you pay tax. You pay tax when you sell. Okay, so if people are sold and have profits, but at the same time they're carrying losses, sometimes it might make sense to realize those losses, because then their tax is going to be less for that year. Okay, so even if they still believe in the tokens that they have in their portfolio, they might want to sell before the end of the tax year, and then again buy them again in the beginning of the new one. Okay, because it means that it is that this this gain and loss in a tax year will be offset against each other. Or if you lost more than you more than you gained, you might even due a tax refund for your loss. So this is kind of like one of the reasons, but the main reason for slowdown. Now this is more difficult to guess, but can anybody guess what that is? Why we slowed down so much in December, while everybody was talking about hitting new highs? No guesses? Shall I tell you then? Yeah, okay. That's the reason. That's the reason why we are slowing down so much because crypto exchanges wind down. Oh, I need to go into a new page. Go on, I'm writing a lot today. Okay, I wasn't thinking I'll do that. So I was saying Chinese crypto exchanges and crypto holders need to wind down their positions by 31st of December. Okay, so what them, and if you see, it's something that you can actually see on the charts. If you take a little bit of time looking at any chart that you can bring up, especially on Bitcoin, you see that you know there's kind of like the three like in forex trading. You know, you've got the three different time zones. Okay, so you got the Asian market, you know, that starts in Australia and then in Tokyo. Then you got the European markets, you know, that start around in London and Europe about 8, 9 o'clock, and then you got the New York market. Okay, so you got the three time zones. And what we've seen in the past month or so, we've seen a sell-off during the Asian trading hours, and then a buying during the European and American trading hours. Okay, so it means that when the markets are open in Asia, people were selling their positions because unwinding, especially from China, because China was the biggest, crypto holder before this ban. And they couldn't sell, although we've seen a big drop in May, when they announced this ban, they couldn't sell everything at once, because if they sold everything at once, the value of their holdings would have gone down dramatically. So what they had to do, they had to feather out of their positions by selling a little bit every day. Okay, this is exactly what happened by selling a little bit every day. So they were able to get out of the market and still realize some of their profits. Archie is saying, what about fund managers wanting to get their end of the year bonuses to realize the profit? Yeah, that's very true as well. But is what I was talking about with institutional kind of like settling their accounts by the end of the year. It all kind of falls into that. But it's very true, and sometimes you got to realize that these things, So I started telling you 2 or 3 months ago, you might see a sell-off at the end of the year because of these reasons. I mean, this is something that you could have seen. But what are we seeing in? So what do we have in store for 2022? Okay, now everybody's looking at, at the moment we're seeing kind of new all-time highs for example, for Avalanche, for Luna, for Polygon, and Solana is at a very high valuation right now. So you're seeing all these things, all these coins that have been doing exceptionally well. But I think the big narrative in 2022 is that at the same time, we've seen that in 2021, many of the kind of Ethereum tokens haven't done as much as well as several other tokens, exactly for that problem, because it was expensive to deal with those apps on Ethereum. But now in 2022, there will be the emergence of Ethereum scaling solution. Not emergence, I will say kind of like, I'm sorry, so that's the wrong word. I will say the deployment in force of, because they're already there, okay? An Ethereum scaling solution. So this kind of, especially, you might have heard about optimistic roll-ups. Okay, and ZK or zero knowledge, if you want to actually not use an acronym, zero knowledge roll-ups. And it's, the zero knowledge roll-up is the kind of like the holy grail that everybody's after. Optimistic rollup is kind of like I would say part-time solution. They might get better over time, but obviously everybody will want to be on the zero knowledge rollups, because optimistic rollups basically means that kind of like, it's kind of like say, I've made this very difficult calculation to make. I'll say to you that the result is 17. Okay, and everybody accepts that. They'll say, well, if nobody comes up and say actually you're wrong, it means that is right. So this is the kind of what it means, an optimistic rollup. So it's kind of the community that checks these results, and then unless they come up and saying, well, actually you calculated wrong for this and that reason, that kind of solution is accepted. Where with a zero knowledge proof, you got immediate confirmation that something is correct. Okay, so this is where everybody wants to be, and also these zero knowledge rollups will mean that as the number of transactions goes up, instead of like in Ethereum, the transactions get more expensive, they will actually get cheaper. So as the numbers grow in crypto, it will cost less and less to have a transaction on one of these layer 2 solutions. And what is very attractive is that you will not need to move your funds to another chain, even if it is Ethereum compatible, like Avalanche, for example, or Phantom or something like this, but you will be still staying on Ethereum where people want to be, okay, because they trust, because they got the network effect, because they've got tons of developers and a big community. Okay, so what we might see, that many undervalued Ethereum tokens then get their day in the sun. And what did I say often? When I say, when you're looking at investing, don't look at the things that are pumping, look at the things that are boring. So have a look around and see, look at 2021, see the tokens in the Ethereum ecosystem that haven't done much, but still are part of a strong narrative. And those will be probably, I won't mention any specific tokens in this call because I don't do that in these crypto hours. But it's a place where you can look at that. The other thing is, if you think, if you're very positive about Solana or about any other product, just think about it. The two biggest releases of 2021 are Cardano and Polkadot. And it is not by chance that the founders of Cardano and Polkadot were original founders of Ethereum. So both Charles Hoskinson and Gavin Wood were in the number of original founders that put Ethereum together. And Gavin Wood, the founder of Polkadot, is actually the creator of Solidity, which is the language, the programming language of Ethereum. So, it does tell you something as well. If these people didn't see eye to eye with the people that are left in Ethereum and went on to create their own blockchain. Now, when you're thinking about, when we're looking at the previous page, and we're seeing that, the Matic, Solana, Avalanche, Phantom, Harmony, all these chains, their main narrative is being, they're cheap and fast. Well, then reconsider all this once you have Ethereum scaling solutions, especially zero knowledge rollups, up and running. And there are a few today, but there will be a lot more. And once you have Cardano, the Cardano dApps deployed on the system, there are a few today that we're waiting for big deluge of Cardano apps in early 2022. And the Polkadot parachains auctions are finished, and we got the parachains fully functional. Okay, so I would say to you, to see the future and how really the market will move, we have to wait for these three to really be fully deployed, and it won't take long. Okay, so it will take a few more months, but by then we'll see how many people would prefer being on Cardano, Polkadot, or Ethereum scaling solutions, or instead they prefer being on Solana or Avalanche or Phantom or Harmony or any other blockchain that competes for space. So what I would say at the moment we are at the crypto sales. Okay, so we are many, not all, but many projects are much lower than all-time highs they reached a few months ago, and they give excuse me. And they offer an opportunity to, what am I doing? I'm messing up really. Okay, so they give an opportunity to invest at very, very reduced prices compared to what we could have invested at in even a few months ago, kind of like April or beginning of May. So, and I can see once we got the kind of the China narrative out of the way at the end of the year out of the way, I would expect, I do expect a fast growth in beginning of 2022. Now, there's one thing also that we need to understand is that the market is still small, so it is easy to be manipulated. Okay, and we've seen a lot of criticism around crypto from one side, and you see the many projects, the JP Morgan, the Bank of America, and so we're the strongest critics of crypto last year, the year before, 2019, 2028. And what happens now? Well, they established groups of to study crypto and to offer institutional investors their expertise. So they completely moved from criticizing crypto to saying, well, actually, we are experts in crypto. If you want to know what to do, come to us and we'll send you our research. Okay, so the problem is that, why many institutions have gone against crypto is because, they want to do the same thing in crypto that they do with cash, which is control it 100%. And this is not possible with crypto, but they still try. And one of the biggest things, so I would say, I've talked a lot about Bitcoin ETFs. I would say don't fall for the Bitcoin futures ETFs. They are rubbish. Okay, and they are basically the reason why they exist because they are instrument for trying to control the price of Bitcoin without owning any Bitcoin. And this is also the reason why the SEC has so far refused to approve a spot ETF. Okay. Spot ETF has been approved. It's in Canada. There is one available in Canada, Germany, Switzerland, Singapore, excuse me, but not USA. The reason why they don't want to approve one is because they can control the price of futures, because the Bitcoin futures have been put together so that they don't have any physical delivery at the end of the futures contract, but they are settled in cash. Where a spot ETF means that it needs to be settled. They need to physically buy Bitcoins to establish a spot ETF, and they can't control that, so they don't want it because how can they then charge fees, and fees for this and fees for that? Because what happens in the Bitcoin futures ETF is that in the price of this future is almost like they worked in, kind of like the crumbs for everybody that gets involved. So, the difference in, by buying a futures ETF or buying a Bitcoin directly, you'll find that at the end of the year, you probably lose about 10% by buying a futures ETF because of all the fees that you have to pay along the way. Okay, and basically they've done it because they want to be on the gravy train, but they can't do that with a spot ETF. That would not be possible because obviously they can influence the price, and by buying on the wholesale market Bitcoins, the price will go up a lot. So this is when we will see the price of Bitcoin go to 100, 200, 300,000, is because there is huge institutional demand for spot Bitcoin, and obviously there's limited supply, because we all know that Bitcoin is got a maximum supply of 21 million. And by the way, in 2021, we reached 90% of Bitcoin being minted. Okay, so 90% of the Bitcoin that will ever be in circulation are already there. There's only 10% that is left to be brought into existence, and that will take many decades before they finished minting them all, because they will go for I think it will be into well into the next decade before we finish with the minting. But it become less and less coming into circulation every day. Every 4 years, you might have heard about the halving. So every 4 years, the reward that is given to the miners for mining Bitcoin is halved. Okay, so that means that the rewards are being created with every block. So every 10 minutes, when a new Bitcoin block is being created, some new Bitcoins are being minted into existence. Okay, and that number of Bitcoins will go down every 4 years to half the level. Okay, so this is what happens. So I think I've given you enough to think about over Christmas. So and if you want to have a kind of like a screen grab from these, then you're welcome. I'll leave it for a few seconds for for each page. But I will say this is pretty much what I am seeing for 2021 and what I see for 2022. The market has gone, overall over 3 times in 2021, and I can't see this really slowing down in 2022. Okay, so it's really for me the best place, the best place to be as an asset class, because there has been nothing at all in history that has grown as much as crypto has in its first 12, 13 years of existence. Okay, so even if you are coming into it now, it is still a very, very good time. You're still at an early stage at the moment, and we haven't seen the kind of the boom that comes from mass adoption. That is still yet to come. Okay, and whatever you might think about the prices, and prices can go up, and be fully aware the price can go down as well as up. So I'm not saying that you'll get rich with crypto. You might as well invest in something now, and within 10 days you can see that your investment has gone down 40%. This happens all the time in crypto. But what I am saying is that the future is very, very bright, because blockchain technology is bringing increasing productivity to the world in general, and to business in particular. So more and more businesses are adopting it because it's cheaper and it's better, and it gives them more option. Okay, so blockchain technology is a winner, whatever happens to price, and it will get adopted, and we'll use it for more and more things in our daily life. Sometimes we won't even realize that we're using it, because soon maybe if you go and cast your vote, you don't realize that by doing it electronically, you'll be recording your votes on the blockchain, for example. So all these kind of things, it might be used to collect taxes, and there are pilots that are being run already, to how countries can collect their taxes through transaction taxes rather than income tax. So all these things might be coming to an authority, local or national authority where you live. Okay, so it's just finding how do we get involved, and that's really the question that we should ask ourselves. I would say, even if you didn't know anything about blockchain, just investing in, for example, in Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot, there were already big projects in at the beginning of this year, you would have done extremely well. Okay, so the big projects will carry on being big projects in 2022 and beyond, and there will be some of the smaller projects that then grow up and play with the big boys. Okay, so at the moment, I would say, if I can give you one bit of advice, remember, boring is good. So trying to see the tokens, they're boring. So they haven't moved very much, but they have got very strong narrative. So they are in sectors that have done well already, especially if you are in the Ethereum ecosystem. The other thing that I would encourage you to do is to spend some time studying the Cardano and Polkadot ecosystem as well, because many new opportunities will appear as dApps are released, for these two blockchains, because the thing is that, apart from price, and just like, Cardano and Polkadot have already grown several 100% in 2021 anyway, but excuse me. They have got huge communities. Both Cardano and Polkadot have got huge communities behind them. So anything they do, it's immediately supported by a large community before even it gets seen by the wider crypto community. Okay, so just the people in the community of Cardano and Polkadot will boost all the new projects that obviously they have got merit, because not everything will be good, but all the projects that have got merit will really be boosted a lot by having a wide community. Okay, so I hope you have taken all of this in, and now let's I've spoken for really a whole hour now. So let me stop sharing, and before we wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, actually, there's something else I wanted to share with you very, very quickly. So first of all, this is my Merry Christmas for crypto. Merry Christmas, and this is my in one word is my 2022 outlook. So this is how I see crypto going in 2022. Okay, so let me stop sharing, and let's see if you have got any questions. Okay.
I'm a bit hampered by the fact that I'm using my phone now, Luca, but there aren't loads of questions. Pierre's asked a couple of times if there are if it's possible to mint NFTs on anything other than Ethereum. I know you can. So if you go on OpenSea or something like that, Pierre, you'll see that there are choices.
Yeah, OpenSea is mainly an Ethereum platform, but you can do things on Polygon as well. But not only that, but all main blockchains allow you to mint your NFTs. So you can mint NFTs on, in the Ethereum network, for example, you can mint NFTs, for example, of Harmony for a fraction of $1. Or you can mint NFTs on Cardano, for example. Cardano that would be very, 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 very cheap compared to Ethereum, and all main on Tron. All main blockchains now have got NFTs minting options. Tezos as well is very good for minting NFTs, and so obviously, Ethereum is where the market was started. It's where OpenSea have really grown a lot, but now it's all main blockchains are developing their own NFT market. And many, NFTs are now, allow you to use Polygon as well. So even if you want to use OpenSea, you can do it for a lot cheaper than the hundreds of dollars it will cost you to mint them on Ethereum.
All right.
Eric was saying.
More questions.
Eric was saying that it's cruel to see you under the palm trees, and if you show them the actual sea as well and the beach, do you want to span around?
Yeah. There you go, guys. That's the beach. I think it's cruel that you're keeping us here for longer than an hour, to be honest, on Christmas Eve, but that's probably because I'm on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I say, we'll be closing in a few minutes, but if you have any questions that that you want to ask, then I'll answer them now. But ideally, this is where we want to be. This is the, we want to create an environment where we can be digital nomads, where you can work anywhere in the world, like Duncan is showing us, is at work, and that's his workplace today. So well done, Duncan. You're already there. You're already there. Okay, so that leaves me, if there aren't any more questions, is me to wish you all a really great Christmas. We're still going to have another crypto hour next week on New Year's Eve, and on New Year's Eve we'll do a review of 2021. So we're looking more in depth into some of the projects that have done well, why they've done well, and generally just like, again, zoom out and see how far we can in 12 months, and where the main news, what the main newspaper was saying at the beginning of the year and what they're saying now. Okay. Excuse me. I think I'm succumbing to my cough and cold right now, so I'm hoping to
Strepsils.
Don't worry, I'm kind of rattling at the moment. I'm taking so many things, and I'm trying to get rid of this before tomorrow, so I can enjoy Christmas as well.
Before we go, guys, if you've got your Christmas stuff on, can you turn your camera on? And Luca, can you put us on? I'm on phone because my laptop battery's gone now. Retired for Christmas. Can you put us on gallery and take a screenshot so that we can?
I am on gallery now.
Share that with the community.
I like your hat, Archie. Jaya, that's a very good. Is that a proper Nepalese hat? Yeah. Fantastic. And I found Eric has found something. Is that a chocolate?
So like a fusion kind of Nepalese Christmas hat.
I didn't know you were Nepalese, Jaya. I thought you were Indonesian. Wow. I'd love to go back to Nepal.
Sure, Duncan. Just let me know. I will provide you the area where to go, and then even if you like to stay in our home,
I've spent quite a lot of time in Nepal. I've spent quite a bit of time in Pokhara and also KTM.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hopefully when we can all travel, I'll be back there one day.
Yeah, next time when you are going, just let me know. I can let my brothers know and stay in our home as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I've got very good memories.
So did we get the
journey of life?
Did we get the? Yeah, absolutely. Did we get the screenshot, Luca?
Sorry, do I have to take a screenshot? Let me just take it. Okay, let me just
get it on gallery and take a screenshot. That's better.
Yeah, I'm on gallery, and let me just say
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Nugget. Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Everyone.
I will say that the if there was a prize, I would go to Vladimira. She's got both a Christmas jumper and a Christmas hat. So well done, Vladimira. And Eric, you can eat the chocolate Santa now. I think, is that chocolate Santa? Yeah, is it? Okay, good. And have a great Christmas, everyone. And I'll catch up with you guys next week. Just for those of you that are in my yearly program, I'm going to send you an email later as well, even for the people that are not here. But I need to move the next fortnightly from the Monday to the Tuesday, because I didn't realize there's still a bank holiday here in the UK, and we got some previous arrangement that I couldn't remember when I when I told you. So we move it from the 3rd to the 4th of January. Okay. All right. So have a great Christmas, everyone, and I will see you again on New Year's Eve if you can. Okay. All right then. Goodbye, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
See you all.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Bye, everyone.